Welcome back. You're exactly where you need to be for real-world dating insights. I'm thrilled you're here because today we're unlocking texting secrets that spark attraction instantly. Before we dive in, tap subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a strategy that makes every conversation exciting and unforgettable. Think about the last time you met someone who caught your attention. Maybe you locked eyes across a room. Maybe it was a quick hello at a friend's gathering, but the real conversation didn't begin until your phone lit up with that first message. That tiny buzz is the new first impression. Before you've even met for a second date or shared a coffee, your words on a screen decide whether the spark grows or fizzles. In today's world, texting isn't just a convenience. It's the stage where curiosity, chemistry, and confidence all play out long before you stand face to face. When someone sends you a text, they're not just passing time, they're opening a small door to their world. And when you respond, you're giving them a glimpse of yours. A simple "heh" might be polite, but it doesn't light anything up. The magic lives in messages that make someone feel a jolt of interest. That's why understanding how to craft those first few lines matters so much. It's not about playing games or creating fake drama. It's about showing personality and creating a rhythm that feels different from every other notification they get. Imagine his phone lighting up with endless messages that all sound the same. "What's up? How's your day?" He scrolls through them without a second thought. But then your text arrives. Something unexpected, something that carries a spark. Maybe it's a playful twist on a shared moment. Maybe it's a clever question that invites a real answer. Suddenly he stops, smiles, and feels that pull to respond. That's the power of texting done right. It stands out in a crowd of ordinary words. Texting also sets the pace for everything that follows. Too fast and it can feel like you're chasing. Too slow and the momentum fades. A well-timed, thoughtful message creates anticipation, the kind that makes someone check their phone a little more often. This isn't about waiting hours to reply for the sake of it. It's about sending something when it naturally fits, when you actually have something to share. That sense of ease is irresistible because it shows you have a life worth living beyond the conversation. What many people forget is that texting isn't just words, it's energy. The way you phrase a sentence, the little hint of humor, the rhythm of short and long messages, all of it tells a story about you. Are you playful, confident, curious? Every line you send builds an impression. If your messages sound like everyone else's, you blend into the background. But when your texts carry a spark of wit or a touch of intrigue, you become the message he's waiting for. This is why texting matters so much more than most people realize. It's the bridge between meeting someone and actually building something real. It's where chemistry is either nurtured or neglected. And the best part, you don't need to be a poet or spend hours crafting each word. You only need to show up as yourself, just with a little more intention. A few well-chosen words can make someone feel seen, curious, even excited to know what you'll say next. So as we move into the first of these 3 secrets, keep this in mind: your messages are more than casual chatter. They're tiny moments of connection that can set an entire relationship in motion. Done right, texting becomes a game of curiosity and charm, where every line is an opportunity to create attraction. That's why the next strategy isn't just about sending a text. It's about sending the kind of spark that makes him lean in and wonder what you'll share next. The first secret to turning a simple message into something he can't ignore is what I like to call the spark and tease. It's that playful edge that instantly separates you from the routine. "How's your day?" Texts that clog up his notifications. Think of it as a gentle nudge that wakes up his curiosity and makes him want to come closer, but without ever feeling like you're trying too hard. When you add a little tease, you're not making fun of him or crossing a line. You're creating a moment where he feels the thrill of a light challenge, the kind of fun energy that keeps a conversation alive. Picture the difference between saying, Hope your meeting went well. And I bet you're secretly the star of that meeting, aren't you? The first is polite. The second adds a wink without an emoji. It suggests you're paying attention while also giving him something to react to. Suddenly, he's not just replying out of courtesy, he's playing along, eager to keep the back and forthgoing. That tiny shift changes the entire tone of the exchange, and it's exactly what makes a man feel like he's texting someone unforgettable. A spark doesn't have to be loud or obvious. It can be a clever observation about something you both noticed earlier or a teasing question that makes him laugh. Maybe you shared a story about a restaurant you tried and he said he loves the same cuisine. Instead of replying with, "Same here," you could say, "Wes, I'll have to challenge you to a taste test then. It's light, it's fun, and it gives the conversation somewhere to go." This is the essence of teasing, not sarcasm, not negativity, but a playful hint that you have your own vibrant energy and you're inviting him into it. The key is balance. Too much teasing without warmth can feel like a wall instead of a bridge. The magic comes from combining a spark of humor with a genuine interest in him. If he tells you about a new hobby, you might reply, "So, when do I get the official demonstration?" It's teasing with a purpose, showing that you're curious and maybe even imagining a next step together. That subtle invitation keeps things exciting because it's not just words. It hints at a shared experience waiting to happen. Timing plays a role here too. A spark lands best when it's unexpected. If he sends a midday message about something mundane, a quick playful reply can brighten his afternoon. It shows you're spontaneous and present, which is far more attractive than a perfectly polished response hours later. And because teasing naturally invites a reaction, it helps build a rhythm where messages flow effortlessly instead of feeling forced. Confidence is the quiet engine behind all of this. When you tease, you're showing that you trust your own charm, that you don't need every sentence to be perfect because you're comfortable enough to play. That kind of confidence is magnetic. It signals that you're someone who enjoys the moment and doesn't measure worth by how quickly he replies. Ironically, that ease is exactly what makes him want to reply faster. Remember, the spark and tease isn't about manipulation. It's about bringing a sense of fun and individuality to a space that's often dull and predictable. You're not trying to win him over with games. You're letting your personality shine through in a way that makes him feel energized every time your name pops up on his screen. When you send that kind of message, you're not just another notification. You become the highlight of his day, the conversation he replays in his mind, and the person he can't wait to text back. The second secret that keeps him leaning in is what I like to call the micro mystery. It's the art of sharing just enough to pull him closer without handing over the entire story. Think of it as leaving a trail of breadcrumbs, small, intriguing details that invite questions and make every reply feel like the next step in a game he actually wants to play. When you master this, your texts become more than messages. They become little doorways into a world he's eager to explore. Start with something as simple as a slice of your day, but add a twist that begs for a follow-up. Instead of writing, "I'm heading to dinner," you might say, "Just discovered the most unexpected place for dinner tonight. Remind me to tell you the weirdest thing on the menu." You haven't said where, you haven't explained what, and suddenly his mind is racing with possibilities. Curiosity is one of the strongest pulls in human nature. When someone feels there's more to know, they naturally want to stay in the conversation. This isn't about playing hard to get or acting secretive for the sake of it. It's about creating a rhythm where every text feels alive with potential. If he asks how your weekend was, resist the urge to give the entire itinerary. Instead, highlight one curious moment. It involved a surprise detour and a hilarious stranger who might have changed my perspective on road trips forever. That single sentence carries movement, humor, and a dangling thread he'll want to tug. He's likely to reply with, "Okay." You can't leave me hanging. What happened? And that's exactly the response you want. Micro-mystery also works when you flip it back on him. If he tells you he's working on a project, you might say, "That sounds like a story waiting to be told. Give me one clue about the wildest part." You're not only showing interest, you're giving him a chance to open up on his own terms. People love to reveal pieces of their world when they feel someone is genuinely curious. The more he shares, the deeper the connection grows, all sparked by a single thoughtful prompt. Timing matters here as well. Dropping an intriguing detail and then letting a little space breathe can heighten anticipation. You're not ghosting. You're allowing him a moment to imagine, to wonder, to want the next piece of the puzzle. A well-placed pause is like a page break in a good novel. It keeps the reader turning. Just be sure that when you do return, you bring warmth and authenticity. Mystery without sincerity can feel like a game. Mystery with genuine interest feels like an adventure. Confidence fuels this approach. Sharing fragments instead of full explanations shows that you're comfortable being discovered layer by layer. You're saying, without words, I'm not in a rush to lay everything out because my life is already full and I enjoy letting you catch up. That quiet assurance is magnetic. It signals that your attention is a choice, not a need, and it invites him to step forward with his own curiosity. Think of micro-mystery as the perfect counterbalance to the spark and tease. The tease ignites immediate energy. The mystery sustains it. Together they create a conversation that feels playful yet meaningful, where every message holds a hint of the unexpected. By giving just enough to keep him wondering, you transform ordinary texting into a dynamic exchange that makes him check his phone a little more often, hoping the next notification is from you. The third secret that makes texting irresistible is mastering timing with intention. Most people think attraction lives only in the words, but when you choose to send those words can create a bigger impact than the cleverest line. Timing is the silent force that turns a simple message into something he can't stop thinking about, because it builds anticipation and shows that your attention is deliberate, not random. Imagine you've just shared a playful tease or dropped a tiny mystery. The natural instinct might be to reply the moment his next message arrives, but rushing every time can flatten the excitement. Instant responses give no space for curiosity to grow. On the other hand, vanishing for hours or days can feel like indifference and break the rhythm you've created. The sweet spot lies in intentional timing, responding when you actually have something to add, not just because the notification appeared. That single shift communicates confidence. It tells him you're engaged, but you also have a life that keeps you happily busy. Consider the difference between a quick, thoughtful reply during a relaxed afternoon and a forced, distracted answer while you're in the middle of something else. A message sent when you can give it real attention carries more warmth and wit. It's not about waiting a set number of minutes or following some arbitrary rule. It's about choosing moments that allow you to bring your best energy into the exchange. When he senses that your texts arrive with presence, not obligation, he starts to look forward to them. Timing with intention also means knowing when to surprise. If most of your messages arrive at predictable hours, a well-timed note at an unexpected moment can light him up. Maybe you send a quick line right after he mentioned an important meeting. Bet you crushed it. It lands precisely when it matters, making him feel seen. Or you follow up on a shared joke later in the evening when he least expects it. These small, thoughtful touches show you're paying attention to his world, and that's a quiet but powerful form of attraction. The pace of conversation matters just as much as individual messages. A lively back and forth can be exciting, but letting a little space breathe between exchanges keeps things fresh. That space isn't about playing hard to get, it's about giving each message room to resonate. When you allow a beat to pass before replying, you give him a chance to think about what you said, to replay your words, to imagine your next move. Anticipation is one of the strongest drivers of desire, and timing is the tool that creates it. Confidence again underpins this entire secret. People who feel secure in themselves don't need to fill every silence. They know a pause doesn't mean disinterest. It means life is happening. By texting with intention, you show that you trust the connection enough to let it breathe. That quiet assurance is magnetic. He feels it when he senses you're not counting minutes or testing him, just moving at a natural rhythm that fits your life. When timing is right, your messages stop feeling like interruptions and start feeling like highlights. Each text arrives like a small, welcome surprise, the kind he checks his phone for a little more often. Combined with the spark of playful teasing and the intrigue of mystery, this deliberate pacing keeps the conversation alive and the attraction growing. The result isn't a game, it's a flow that feels effortless yet unforgettable, the kind of texting chemistry that makes him eager for every next word you choose to send. The final piece that ties all these texting secrets together is confidence over chasing, because every spark, tease, mystery, and perfectly timed message only works when it comes from a place of self-assurance. Attraction fades the moment someone senses desperation, and nothing is more magnetic than someone who enjoys connection but doesn't depend on it. Confidence is the quiet signal that says you know your worth, you value your time, and you invite someone in rather than begging them to stay. Think about how different it feels to receive a message from someone who clearly has a full, vibrant life. Their texts have a natural ease, as if they were simply sharing a fun moment rather than waiting anxiously for a response. Compare that to a flood of back-to-back messages that all carry a silent plea for attention. One pulls you in, the other pushes you away. The words might look similar on the screen, but the energy behind them is completely different, and that energy is what a man responds to most. Confidence shows up in subtle choices. It's in the way you take your time to reply when you're actually free instead of dropping everything the second a notification appears. It's in the way you share stories about your own adventures, work you're passionate about, friends you cherish, hobbies you love, without constantly redirecting the spotlight to him. It's in the way you can tease and create mystery without fear that he might not get it. Because you're not trying to impress, you're simply expressing. That effortless vibe is what makes someone think, I need to know more about this person. Chasing, on the other hand, drains the spark you work so carefully to create. When every text is a bid for validation, the rhythm turns heavy. He senses that you're not just enjoying the conversation, you're clinging to it. That pressure can make even the most exciting exchange feel like a task. The irony is that people often chase because they want closeness, yet chasing is the very thing that pushes closeness away. Confidence doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means being grounded. You can be warm, playful, and even vulnerable while still holding your center. You can show interest, ask questions, share details, laugh at his jokes, without making your happiness hinge on how quickly he responds. If he takes a little longer to text back, you don't spiral. You go on with your day, knowing that your worth isn't measured by a reply time. That calm assurance is far more appealing than any perfectly crafted line. This mindset also gives you the freedom to enjoy the process. When you're not chasing, every conversation becomes an exchange of energy rather than a test you need to pass. You can enjoy teasing him, leaving a mystery or timing a message just right because you like the playfulness, not because you're trying to trap him. That shift from needing a certain outcome to simply enjoying the connection makes your texts light and inviting. It's the difference between someone who feels like a refreshing breeze and someone who feels like a weight. Ultimately, confidence over chasing transforms the way you see texting altogether. It stops being a strategy to win someone and becomes a natural extension of who you are. The spark and tease grab his attention. The mystery keeps him intrigued. The timing builds anticipation, but it's your self-assured presence that makes him stay. When your messages carry the quiet certainty that you are complete with or without his attention, you create the kind of attraction that doesn't fade. He doesn't feel pressured, he feels drawn in, wanting to be part of the vibrant world you've already built. That is the true secret behind every unforgettable text. Now that you've uncovered all three texting secrets, playful spark, micro, mystery, and intentional timing, it's time to bring everything full circle and leave your audience with a sense of excitement and empowerment. The close is where you pull the threads together, reminding them that these ideas aren't complicated tricks, but simple shifts in the way they communicate. It's the moment to reinforce that attraction grows from genuine confidence, not scripted lines, and to invite them to take what they've learned and use it right away. Begin by celebrating what they've just gained. You can acknowledge that most people treat texting as background noise, never realizing it can be a doorway to deeper connection. By showing viewers how to inject a spark of fun, share intriguing fragments of their life, and time their messages with purpose, you've handed them tools that immediately set them apart from the endless stream of forgettable, "Hey, what's up?" conversations. A warm, affirming tone makes the audience feel proud of the insight they now hold, as if they've joined a community of people who communicate with intention. From there, shift into encouragement. Let them know that these strategies are only powerful when they are tried in real life. They don't need to memorize scripts or overthink every word. They simply need to bring their authentic personality to the conversation with a little more awareness. Emphasize that the real goal isn't to make someone chase them, but to create a dialogue that feels alive and mutual. When they show up with confidence and curiosity, the right person will naturally want to keep the conversation going. This is also the perfect place to underline the bigger message that their value doesn't hinge on anyone's reply. A reminder that their worth is not measured by how quickly someone texts back creates a sense of freedom. Encourage them to enjoy their own lives, pursue hobbies, connect with friends, and see texting as a fun extension of who they are rather than a constant test. That mindset is what gives every tip, whether teasing, intriguing, or timing, its magnetic edge. Invite them to share their experiences. Suggest they try one of the secrets today and come back to the comments with stories of how it changed a conversation. When viewers contribute their own wins and challenges, they become active participants rather than passive listeners, and that energy strengthens the connection between you and your audience. It also reinforces the idea that growth comes from action, not just listening. Finally, guide them toward what's next. Tease an upcoming video or a deeper dive into another aspect of modern dating. Maybe a piece on building chemistry in person or creating unforgettable first dates. A small hint about future content keeps them excited to return, just as a well-timed text keeps a conversation alive. And don't forget the clear call to action. Invite them to subscribe, tap the notification bell, and share this video with a friend who could use a little texting inspiration. Close with gratitude. A sincere thank you for spending time with you reinforces the sense of community you've built throughout the video. Leave them with a final uplifting thought, something that captures the heart of everything you've shared, that great connections start with confidence, curiosity, and a touch of playfulness, and that every message they send can be a spark for something extraordinary. With that, you send them off not just informed but inspired, ready to put these secrets into action and watch their conversations and their confidence come alive.